Isoroku Yamamoto. April 4, 1884 to April 18, 1943. Was a Marshal Admiral of the Imperial Japanese Navy, IJN, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Combined Fleet during World War II. Yamamoto held several important posts in the Imperial Navy, and undertook many of its changes and reorganizations, especially its development of naval aviation. He was the Commander-in-Chief during the early years of the Pacific War and oversaw major engagements including the attack on Pearl Harbor and the Battle of Midway. Yamamoto was killed in April 1943 after American code breakers identified his flight plans, enabling the United States Army Air Forces to shoot down his plane. His death was a major blow to Japanese military morale during World War II. To boost morale following the defeat at Guadalcanal, Yamamoto decided to make an inspection tour throughout the South Pacific. It was during this tour that U.S. officials commenced an operation to kill him. On April 14, 1943, the United States naval intelligence effort, codenamed Magic, intercepted and decrypted a message containing specifics of Yamamoto's tour, including arrival and departure times and locations, as well as the number and types of aircraft that would transport and accompany him on the journey. Yamamoto, the itinerary revealed, would be flying from Rabaul to Balali Airfield, on an island near Bougainville in the Solomon Islands, on the morning of April 18, 1943. President Franklin D. Roosevelt may have authorized Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox to get Yamamoto, but no official record of such an order exists, and sources disagree whether he did so. Knox essentially let Admiral Chester W. Nimitz make the decision. Nimitz first consulted Admiral William Halsey Jr., Commander, South Pacific, and then authorized the mission on April 17 to intercept and shoot down Yamamoto's flight en route. A squadron of United States Army Air Forces Lockheed P-38 Lightning aircraft were assigned the task as only they possessed sufficient range. Select pilots from 3 units were informed that they were intercepting an important high officer, with no specific name given. On the morning of April 18, despite urging by local commanders to cancel the trip for fear of ambush, Yamamoto's 2 Mitsubishi G-4M bombers, used as fast transport aircraft without bombs, left Rabaul as scheduled for the 315 miles, 507 kilometers, trip. 16 P-38s intercepted the flight over Bougainville, and a dogfight ensued between them and the 6 escorting Mitsubishi A-6M0s. First Lieutenant Rex T. Barber engaged the first of the 2 Japanese transports, which turned out to be T-1-323, Yamamoto's aircraft. He fired on the aircraft until it began to spew smoke from its left engine. Barber turned away to attack the other transport as Yamamoto's plane crashed into the jungle. Yamamoto's body, along with the crash site, was found the next day in the jungle of the island of Bougainville by a Japanese search and rescue party, led by Army Engineer Lieutenant Tsuyoshi Hamasuna. According to Hamasuna, Yamamoto had been thrown clear of the plane's wreckage, his white-gloved hand grasping the hilt of his katana, still upright in his seat under a tree. Hamasuna said Yamamoto was instantly recognizable, head dipped down as if deep in thought. A post-mortem disclosed that Yamamoto had received 2.50 caliber bullet wounds, one to the back of his left shoulder and another to the left side of his lower jaw that exited above his right eye. The Japanese Navy doctor examining the body determined that the head wound had killed Yamamoto. The more violent details of Yamamoto's death were hidden from the Japanese public. The medical report was changed, on orders from above, according to biographer Hiroyuki Agawa. Yamamoto's staff cremated his remains at Bin, Papua New Guinea, and his ashes were returned to Tokyo aboard the battleship Musashi, his last flagship. He was given a full-state funeral on June 5, 1943, where he received, posthumously, the title of Marshal Admiral and was awarded the Order of the Chrysanthemum, First Class. He was also awarded Nazi Germany's Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross with oak leaves and swords. Some of his ashes were buried in the public Tama Cemetery, Tokyo, and the remainder at his ancestral burial grounds at the Temple of Chukoji in Nagaoka City. He was succeeded as Commander-in-Chief of the Combined Fleet by Admiral Manaichi Koga. In the years following Admiral Yamamoto's death, debate has arisen regarding whether he was assassinated rather than legally killed. Colonel Hayes Parks, one of the U.S. government's foremost legal experts, wrote in his Memorandum of Law, Executive Order 12333 an assassination, that Admiral Yamamoto was killed because of his status as an enemy combatant in compliance with the applicable laws of war. Parks wrote that enemy combatants are legitimate targets at all times, regardless of their duties or activities at the time of their attack. Such attacks do not constitute assassination unless carried out in a treacherous manner, as prohibited by Article 23(b) of the Annex to the Hague Regulations of 1907.